Today, we're going to discuss the Oregon Advance Directive. This form is vitally important as it allows you to appoint a healthcare representative and also allows you to express your wishes regarding your life and values, as well as end-of-life decisions. It is often available at our doctor's office, or if you've seen an estate planning attorney, you may have already filled one out. However, if you have not, I'm going to show you where to access it today and how to fill it out yourself. So the form is available online at the Oregon.gov website. As you can see here, it is available in many different languages, and you can choose to pick a Word document or a PDF. The PDF is fillable, and you can either print it and handwrite it in or fill it out online, so long as it's signed by you. So the Oregon Advance Directive's stated goals allow you to share your values, beliefs, goals, and wishes regarding healthcare decisions at a time when you're not able to express those wishes yourself. So long as you're able to express your desires regarding healthcare decisions or end of life, you will be able to make those decisions. So the Advance Directive is really in place for a time when you may not be able to express your wishes yourself. There are multiple parts to this form. The first part, we fill out information about ourselves. So you need to fill out your first, middle, and last name, your date of birth, and contact information. You next need to figure out who will act as your healthcare representative in the event you can't speak for yourself. You may appoint successors, and I recommend that you have at least 2 people named. The decision makers will be in order, so your first healthcare representative will be first in line. The alternate will be second if the first is not able. We do not need social security numbers or their date of birth, but it is important to put their contact information down so they can be contacted in the event they need to make a decision for you. They will be able to make all kinds of healthcare decisions on your behalf. So it's important that you have a conversation with them ahead of time about what it is that you may or may not want, especially relating to surgical decisions, placement in long-term care, as well as end-of-life decisions. After completing the first part, we're going to give the healthcare representative a little bit of instruction regarding what could be a very difficult decision, and that is end-of-life decisions regarding tube feeding and life support. In this second section, there'll be a few definitions. It's important to read the definitions carefully, as they may direct or they should direct your decision regarding whether or not you want tube feeding and life support. So upon reading each one very carefully, you will decide if you want tube feeding and life support under that condition. The first one is terminal, which is described as if you have an illness that cannot be cured or reversed, and your healthcare providers, meaning your doctors or medical team, believe it will result in your death within 6 months, regardless of any treatment. Again, while you're able to make the decision for yourself, you may do so. However, in the event your healthcare representative needs to make this decision for you, you'll initial what you believe your preference would be. Number 1 is you want all available treatments to sustain your life, such as artificial feeding and hydration with feeding tubes, IV fluids, kidney dialysis, and breathing machines. Number 2 is you only want artificial feeding and hydration and do not want treatment to sustain your life, such as with kidney dialysis or breathing machines. Number 3 is you do not want treatment to sustain your life, such as artificial feeding and hydration with IV tubes, fluids, kidney dialysis, and breathing machines. So number 3 is basically you do not want tube feeding or life support. And number 4, you can initial if you want your healthcare representative to decide for you. So you're not giving them instruction as far as yes or no, but they're going to decide for you after talking with your healthcare providers and taking into account the things that matter most to you. If you pick number 4, you will be given an extra page to fill out to give your healthcare representative some additional information about your desires regarding these events. So after you initial 1, 2, 3, or 4, you can move on to the next scenario, which is advanced progressive illness. This is described as you're having an illness that's in its advanced stage, and your healthcare provider, meaning your doctors or team of medical staff, believe it will not improve and will be very likely to get worse over time and result in death. And your healthcare providers believe you will not be able to communicate, swallow food or water safely, care for yourself, or recognize friends and other people. You will again initial 1, 2, 3, or 4. You can choose a different answer here, as it's important to listen to each scenario and decide. And again, initial, you want all treatment. You only want tube feeding and IV hydration. You do not want tube feeding or IVs or life support. Or number 4, your healthcare representative will decide. The third scenario is permanently unconscious. So if this is, you are not conscious and your healthcare provider believes it's very unlikely you will ever become conscious again. Again, you'll initial next to 1, 2, 3, or 4. And again, this answer can be different than the first 2. It's important to really understand and take into consideration each scenario and how you see yourself progressing through it and what your desires would be if you were making this decision yourself. You can write some additional information for your healthcare provider in making this decision. If you have picked the 4th option where your healthcare representative is making the decision for you, it's important to give them some more information on when you would consider ending life-sustaining treatment. So we're going to write down some information on what your healthcare representative should know regarding what is of utmost importance to you in your life. What do you value most in your life? And what is important to you about your life? They can take those things into consideration in making a decision to end life-sustaining treatment on your behalf. Next, you'll initial next to any of these that you believe you would want to end life-sustaining treatment. You can initial 1, all of them, or none of them. If you're not able to express your needs, you'll initial this if you would be comfortable with them ending life-sustaining treatment. If you're not able to be free from long-term pain and suffering, initial this one. If you're not able to understand or know who you are and who you're with, you'll initial this one. If you're not able to live without being hooked up to machines for the rest of your life, you'll initial here. And if you're not able to participate in activities that have meaning to you, you'll initial this last one and then outline what activities are important that you would want them to consider. It is important, if you're having your healthcare representative make this decision, to give them as much information as possible to equip them to make the best decision for you. As we move on, there are some questions where you can fill in the blank. I encourage everybody to fill in as much information as possible to help your healthcare representative and medical team understand your needs. If you have any religious or spiritual beliefs that you want honored at the end, or things such as no blood transfusions that are important to your religious or spiritual beliefs, it is important to write them here. If this is not enough space, you can always attach additional pages. Number 4, if there is anything regarding your life and values that you want people again to recognize or honor or consider as part of these decisions, you can write it here and again attach additional pages if there's not enough space. If you have a preference for where you would want to be for care, or more particularly not want to be for care, you can fill in this information here. Some people have already decided which care facility they would like to enter, or decide that being at home for as long as possible is of utmost importance to them. If there's additional information you would like to include, there's space here. This form should be about you, so feel free to write as much information as possible. The goal of the form is to equip those of us who are appointing a healthcare representative to have as much information about us to make an informed and good decision. If you would like anybody else informed as to if you are in this stage or about to pass, you'll include the information here. Again, if there's more than one person that you would like to be informed, you can attach additional pages. To be valid, this must include your signature and either 2 witnesses who are unrelated to your medical team and who are not acting or going to be acting as your medical or healthcare representative. You can also have this form notarized. Finally, it's important that anybody who you nominate as your healthcare representative read this form ahead of time and agree to accept the role. This role is not perfect for everybody. It can be a very difficult thing to do in making a decision or carrying out the wishes of somebody regarding end of life. Your healthcare representative, therefore, needs to read that you have appointed them and what their decisions will be. They will print their name and sign here. I wish you the best in filling out this vital information and making these difficult decisions.